Three. Hey, everybody. I'm trying to get my headset in. Sorry about that. Headset is on. Hey, everybody. Look, I just got out of the shower and I'm wearing a wrinkly t-shirt. Yeah, so, today we had, there's Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Today we had just a whole heck of a lot of fun. Yeah, our electricity was out and they told us we were going to have some maintenance being done here. Well, who knew that it was going to be lasting as long as it did, but it did. So I just got out of the shower. I've got wet hair, so you guys are going to have to deal with that. But I really wanted to come on because I've got Marla coming over and Robert for dinner. So I have some things to still do in the kitchen. But I wanted to come on and tell you a little bit about what's going on this week and remind you that you've got that you can ask me questions for our Q&A on Friday. Remind you to share this video and share the love of saving dinner. And remind you that you can win this book. We have the contest going for this book. And Kelly Matta, lovely Kelly, has already emailed customer support and let us know that she had won the book. So we've already sent it in the mail to her. So I was so glad. What is this? Brenda said, I keep logging myself off. Don't log yourself off. Stay on. We're here. Anyway, so wet hair and all, I'm here. I get points for that. I'm just letting you know. I get points for that. And I keep taking my glasses off because I'm so hot from the running around and just, as soon as the electricity came on, I dashed into the shower to take a shower. I was scared, even though it seemed like we had water. I was afraid that I'd have my hair all shampooed up and then suddenly everything would go out. So I really waited for a long time to get my shower today, and it feels really good to have to be clean. So that was a fun thing. So it's very good to see everybody. Terry, Brenda, there's my friend Marla. Marla's here. And, thank you everybody for showing up, even though we were just a few hours late. Hey, you know what? We do what we have to do, and we make the best of it. It's not a big deal. So anyway, this is my little worry doll. I got this little worry doll when I was down in Mexico, and it was made by one of the ladies who cleaned up our rooms. And it was really sweet. It had a little note with it saying that if you have any worries, to put it underneath your pillow and that your worries will be gone, the next day. Well, I had this little worry doll here with me, reminding me that I don't need to worry about anything. The electricity will come on. There's nothing to worry about. People will show up. We will, life will go on. You have to have times in your lives where there are hiccups. There are hiccups. There are times when the electricity is off. And you deal with it, right? This is what we do. So this little worry doll, I just think, isn't she this the cutest little thing? It was sitting on my pillow, and I definitely brought her home, and she sits right here on my computer, reminding me there is nothing to worry about. We have somebody who's looking over us at all times, who cares about every single wet hair on your head. Don't forget that. So I mentioned last time that the blog has the do's and don'ts this week about using your Instant Pot. It's important because if you use your equipment correctly, you're going to get dinner done quickly. So we are people who don't like to read the directions. Do I hear an amen? At least I'm that way. I have these books. I have as a matter of fact, I have one somewhere here on my desk because I do use the hot air fryer sometimes. And I've never read the directions on it. That's a true confession. I've never read the directions, but I've got somebody in my household who will. There's always somebody who will. And usually men are good at reading directions. They won't ask for directions, but they'll read the directions. There's a big difference. So anyway, I've kept that, and it kind of gives me a little something to do. Let's see what else we have here that I can tell you. Hi, Patsy and Nora. So good to see you all. I really appreciate it. That's just really sweet. And thank you too for sharing this video and getting the word out that dinner doesn't have to be such a hassle. That's what I'm here to help you with. And today, while we didn't have internet and didn't have anything, it was a good writing day for me. I got a whole series of emails done that I needed to get done. I started working on the hormone chapter that we're working on in our body clutter book. That's super exciting. I mean, who knew there were so many hormones that you had to deal with? Well, there are, and we're going to be telling you all about that. So that was really, it was a good thing to kind of back off, to remember not to worry, and to just, you know, go with the flow, let it happen. That's just the way of the world. Now, Q&A is on Fridays, and if you have questions, we had some really good questions, very thoughtful questions, then please send them in to support@savingdinner.com. And Jenny is so wonderful. She sends them all to me at one time, and I take them and I read them and I call you out and say, hey, Judy, here's your question answered, so that we can, you know, everybody can get the education that they need, or the knowledge bomb that they need dropped, but two, to acknowledge that you took the time to send it in. And I appreciate all that you do when you send those things in. Now remember, we have a little bit of a back order right now with vanilla perfect paleo protein, unflavored, and chocolate is available, so take advantage of that. The L-glutamine, out the door. We had a big discussion on how critical L-glutamine is. Out the door. That stuff went fast last week. But we have a new order in, and same with the Fiber Mender. Fiber Mender just like flies out the door. Those two things, L-glutamine and Fiber Mender, are just, I swear by them. They're miracle workers in and of themselves. And if you're like me and you really love this stuff, next time you order, grab two, because it goes faster than I can keep it in stock. It's fantastic stuff. So, ooh, I love it when I see the love. There was love bubbling up there just a minute ago. Thanks for that. Now, when you're on the blog and you're reading the blog posts, there's tons of blog posts there, of course. I've been online forever, and we even have a bunch of stuff that's not even there. But when you're on the blog and you scroll down, you'll see little words about our referral program. There's a link. If you click on that link, it'll give you your own unique, I saw Marla's face, it'll give you your own unique little referral code. And when you use that referral code, we give you $5 to spend in the Saving Dinner store. That is cool. So just remember that. You can get that referral code. It's right there on the page at savingdinner.com. So take a look for that. I always like to tell people about that because I forget. Kelly Mata, she's the winner. You know about that. One Pot Og. That is your code for this week. I'm giving you a code so you can get one of my best ebooks that I have ever put together, called the One Pot Collection. Now, here's the thing about One Pots. One Pot makes dinner easy, makes cleanup fast. I love that. You don't have 20 different pots going. You can create a salad while you've got that one pot going. Now, whether that pot is your Instant Pot, your crock pot, your Dutch oven, your skillet, one pot, one meal. It's easy, and you can get your little side going on the side, and everything tastes delicious. Now, in this collection, what we have, I'm going to tell you how many different recipes we have, because there's just a bazillion. There's 15 crock pot recipes, 15 Dutch ovens, 15 pressure cooker recipes that also can be Instant Pot recipes, and 15 stock pot recipes. These are your big batch cooking that you can then squirrel some of that stuff away, throw it into the freezer, and really take advantage of having a little backup plan. I always call it Plan B, because sometimes Plan A, like working today, electricity went off. So Plan A of working today on some certain things that I had on my list, that all went away. So Plan B, get busy and get working and start writing. And that's what I did. So I like you to have the same thing for dinner, because here's the thing. You get your routines down, just like Fly Lady teaches you. You get your routines down. You get dinner planned and executed upon. And guess what? Life suddenly is a whole lot easier. Because I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a phone call from somebody at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right about now, if you're on the East Coast, and saying, hey, Mom, what's for dinner? And you're just going, oh, I have no idea. That's no way to live. You need to know what's for dinner. And you also need to honor the way your family eats. And that is why in all these recipes that I have, the 15 crock cooker, the 15 Dutch oven, pressure cooker, stock pot, plus the 10 skillet, 10 desserts, and 5 specific Instant Pot dinners, you can order it in paleo, classic, or low carb. Now, it's a $37 product. lots of stuff there, lots of tips, lots of how to do it, serving with it, all that stuff. You know how I think, we like to think of everything. All you have to do is enter the code 1POT AUG, AUG, all together. It's not case sensitive when you check out, and you're going to get 10 bucks off. I love a good deal. So I wanted to tell you about that. All right. The other question that I had a lovely lady today, Melinda, who I was supposed to speak to today at 3 o'clock. And because I couldn't hop on, I do my calls for NutriCoach on Zoom. So I can be eyeball to eyeball and talking to you just like I am right now, except I can see you back, which is really nice. Well, I didn't get a chance to do that today, and I called her and tried to get on with her, and unfortunately it didn't work because my internet was down. So Melinda, if you're listening, let's reschedule, okay? And also, if you want to schedule just like Melissa, I don't do a very good job of this. It's leanneely.as.me. .as.me, LEANNEELY.as.me. You can make an appointment with me. Just go to NutriCoachSchool.com. You can click on the link and get that same appointment. But I'd love to talk to you about it. You know, here's the thing. You know, some of us have just not found our way yet in life. And I don't care how old you are. And if you're 50, 60, or whatever, and you haven't figured out what you want to be when you grow up, but you know you've got a passion for cooking, you know you've got a passion for nutrition, I can show you how to turn that into a career. That's what I did. And I did it. I'll show you the way that I did it. And I can, you know, you can do the same thing because I can shortcut it for you. And that's what this course is all built on. So they give you the nutrition, give you the cooking, shortcut the whole thing. This is how you deliver it to a client so that you can, you know, make some money. Back in the 1990s, when I very, very first came to Charlotte, North Carolina, this was in 1994. I'll never forget it. It was December 94, and I remember my children looking outside at the trees and crying how scary they were, and it looked like the Wizard of Oz trees because there were no leaves on the trees. I came from California. In California, there's no such thing as fall. There's no trees with leaves falling. It's just, you know, beautiful 75-degree weather all the time. So, you know, when it's funny, if you're from California, you know this, whenever there's rain or anything in the forecast, I mean, it's just like breaking news. We've got rain, you know, and you're watching everybody sliding all over the place on the freeway. It's the truth. It's the way it is. So when we got here, it was like, wow, there's like cold weather and it requires a jacket. All we had were sweatshirt jackets. We had to run to Walmart and all buy jackets because we were freezing. But the kids were looking at the trees and just going, golly, this is, you know, this is scary and this is really hard. And I don't know, you know, they were like seriously frightened because the trees didn't have leaves. Well, you know, it was a rough time because there was a lot of adjustment. And here we are from Southern California. We have no idea. And in our sweatshirt jackets, freezing with no leaves on the trees. And, you know, unfortunately, we were having, you know, there was some financial issues going on. And so, you know, I had my background I was a nutritionist already, and I had a nutritional practice when I was in Southern California. I didn't have one here when I got to Charlotte. And so I had that to fall back on. But I also had my catering company. I had my own catering company when I was in my 20s, and I sold it in my late 20s. It was the first business that I ever had, and I actually sold. But I kind of fell back on that, and I created my own job. And so I found a couple of people, and as a matter of fact, it was a woman who was my Bible study leader, and she wanted me to prepare meals for her. So I'd go to her house. I knew what she wanted to eat. I knew what she didn't want to eat, and I would go grocery shopping. I'd go to her house, prepare meals, and I'd throw it into the refrigerator. She was trying to watch her blood pressure, and she had certain things that she wanted to do. Well, I knew what to do. I was a nutritionist, and I was a caterer, so I knew what to do. I put it all together, went to her house, and threw those meals in her refrigerator. She loved it. Now, fast forward 20-something years later, and I'm reading the New York Times article. This is in April, and it's saying that the biggest, fastest growing services right now for people, personal chefs. where they go to people's houses and they have somebody who cooks for them just the way that they need to, and that these people have a knowledge of nutrition and they have a knowledge of cooking skills and they know how to do it. Well, I thought, well, that's interesting. That's what I'm teaching. And of course, I opened NutriCoach School. You can see it, NutriCoachSchool.com, where I teach people how to do this in 12 modules. And it's fun and it's interesting, and you get to do it on your own terms. Some of my graduates have done some really cool things. One of them, well, two of them actually, and that's Karen and Pam, graduated. They're in Michigan, and they're teaching millennials how to cook. Isn't that cool? They have a whole thing. They call it the family table, and they have people coming to their house to learn how to cook, or they go to their houses and it gets hosted there. And then they have a big meal together and they open some wine and have a good time. But people are learning how to cook, and they get the neatest comments from these ladies who just didn't have a clue. And that was another thing that I did too, but this was back in, the Newport Beach time. I used to teach cooking lessons to a bunch of women who needed help with that. So there's a lot of different ways you can use your NutriCoach certification, and that's what I do, is teach you how to do that and also how to shortcut the process so that you do it well and you're going to make some money doing it, because that's, you got to pay the bills. All right, so if you want to get a hold of me, NutriCoachSchool.com. I'd love to talk to you, especially if you're a fly baby, because I think this can open up a new area of life for you. And let's also, don't forget to go to the blog and check out what to do with your Instant Pot, what not to do with it. Stay safe. It's still, it's under pressure, and it's, those things can be a little scary to use sometimes. So if you know how to use it properly, you're going to use it well, and it's going to become an invaluable tool in that kitchen. And don't forget, on this Friday, I'm going to be answering questions, and I love it when you send them in, and whatever you need to ask. And of course, you can always ask questions here, but I can't always get over here. And sometimes, like right now, I'm looking, there's 43 questions. And this is how this is what makes the world go round. Questions and getting answers and understanding and knowing. And I'm going to tell you something. I have been a nutritionist since 1990. I think it was 92 or 93. I'm not sure exactly when it was. I think I started in 92, and I didn't finish my certification until 93. But here's something I'm going to tell you. Nutrition is a constantly changing science. There's only so much that we know. We don't know everything about nutrition. That's why all of a sudden you're hearing like, whoa, this is, intermittent fasting is like a big thing, or keto is a big thing. It's not that it hasn't been around. It's that we now have the science to back it up so we can understand it better. So as we can understand these things better, we can do better and we can get into it. So as I started seeing the science for intermittent fasting before, I would have told you 2 years ago, I promise you, I would have said, if you said skipping breakfast was, something that you want to do, I'd say it's the most important meal of the day. Well, not necessarily. One thing that I do teach, and I will always teach forever and ever, amen, I don't care what the science says, I'm always going to teach you that you are your own expert, that you are your own nutritional guru. I don't want you to ever forget that. So if somebody tells you to do something and it doesn't feel right or it doesn't work for you, don't keep trying to force your round body into that square peg. It doesn't work that way. What works is when we listen to ourselves and we adjust accordingly. What works is when we have a good understanding of how our bodies work. And generally, we all have, like when I talk about leptin and ghrelin, for example, we all have leptin and ghrelin. These are our hunger hormones. They're inside of our bodies. But you will know what to look for and how to understand, oh, that's ghrelin. This is how this works. This is how I can give ghrelin the hike. Or that's leptin. This is how that works. This is how I can make sure that that leptin is working to my advantage. I can help you with all of that. And, it's one of the reasons why, and I'll show you right here. You see all those supplements over there? Every single one of them handpicked by me, pharmaceutical grade, and I've worked with a doctor. I've worked with an expert on the formulation on every single one of them. And the reason that I've done that is I want to make sure that anything that I'm telling you to put in your mouth, whether it's a food, it's a supplement, or whatever, a fork with food on the end of it, that it's worth your while, that it's going to do something for you. So that's my entire motivation. I want to offer you the best. So that goes for everything. I'm here to serve you. That's it. And by the way, I will be getting back into the kitchen. I will be doing my cooking once a week kind of a thing. I haven't had the chance to do it. So every day, though, you can find me here at 1 o'clock Eastern, and I'll be here talking to you. Every once in a while, that'll have to change because of a previous schedule commitment. But I've blocked my calendar from now on. But I've got a couple of things, like next week, I've got a couple of things, but I'll just come on a little bit later. But I love seeing you all and interacting with you and having a chance to talk. Terry says, I no longer eat several small meals a day or graze. I'm glad I know there is flexibility. Terry, I will tell you, this is the funniest thing. When Marla and I first started our body clutter adventure, we were doing 5 small meals a day. Ask Marla. It was just like we're trying to keep up with all of that. And it worked. It worked at the beginning. But then it kind of breaks your metabolism. Here's the thing, when you understand how insulin works, you kind of break your insulin a little bit and your insulin sensitivity a little bit, because your body doesn't have a chance to reset. Your body doesn't have a chance to know hunger. So you're messing with ghrelin and leptin. Those are your hunger hormones. I'll tell you more about those another time. We're kind of running out of time here. That's number one. And number two, the other thing is it keeps you in a place of constant digestion. That's not good for you. You need to have a place where you're eating and feasting, and you're also resting and fasted. So we'll talk about that. We got lots of stuff going. Karen, if you're having it, she's asking about psoriasis. Any psoriasis stuff, here's your deal. First of all, I hope you don't mind about this, but you need to remove gluten. You need all right, there you go. It's trying to reconnect. Oh, lost the connection. Sorry about that. See you tomorrow. All right, I'm going to just end that live broadcast. Wow.